What happens when a force of nature walks the earth in human form? When untamed power meets a world that's not always ready for it? Today, we're diving deep into the story of a man who was more than just a boxer. He was a phenomenon, a cautionary tale, and ultimately a survivor. We're talking about Iron Mike Tyson. Forget everything you think you know for a moment. Beyond the soundbites, the ferocious knockouts, and the controversies, there's a story of a lost kid who found a brutal kind of salvation, only to lose his way and fight to find it again. How did a boy from the mean streets of Brooklyn become the youngest heavyweight champion in history, and what lessons can we draw from his turbulent journey? Stick around as we unravel the complex life of Mike Tyson. Michael Gerard Tyson was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1966. His childhood was a battlefield. Poverty, crime, and instability were his daily companions. By the age of 13, he'd been arrested over 30 times. It's a path that leads many to a dead end. But for Mike, it led him to a juvenile detention center and, fatefully, to the eyes of boxing manager and trainer Cus D'Amato. Cus wasn't just a trainer. He became the father figure Mike never had. He saw beyond the troubled exterior to the raw talent and the deep-seated pain. D'Amato took Mike under his wing, instilling discipline, a unique peekaboo boxing style, and a belief that he could be the best in the world. Imagine being told as a teenager who felt like a nobody that you were destined for greatness. Cus gave Mike a purpose. A dangerous one, perhaps, but a purpose nonetheless. He molded Mike into a fighting machine, teaching him not just to throw punches, but the psychology of intimidation and dominance. And rise he did, like a rocket. In 1985, Tyson turned professional. His early fights were terrifyingly brief. Opponents weren't just beaten, they were demolished. He was a whirlwind of power, speed, and aggression. The world had never seen anything like it. Commentators scrambled for words. He was Kid Dynamite, then Iron Mike. Just a year and a half after his pro debut, in November 1986, at the age of 20 years, 4 months, and 22 days, Mike Tyson faced Trevor Berbick for the WBC heavyweight title. The world watched, and Mike delivered. He knocked Berbick down multiple times, the final one seeing Berbick stumble across the ring like a newborn foal. A new king was crowned. Mike Tyson was the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history, a record that still stands today. Cus D'Amato's prophecy had come true, though sadly, Cus passed away a year before seeing his protege reach this monumental peak. The loss of D'Amato, the one man who truly understood and guided him, would prove to be a critical turning point in Mike's life, though its full impact wouldn't be seen immediately. For the next few years, Mike Tyson was boxing. He unified the WBA, WBC, and IBF titles, becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion. His fights were global events. The aura around him was immense. Pure, untamed intimidation. He wasn't just a boxer, he was a cultural icon, a symbol of raw, untamed power. People tuned in not just to see if he'd win, but how quickly and devastatingly he'd do it. He was, by his own admission and popular acclaim, the baddest man on the planet. The money, the fame, the accolades, it all came pouring in. It was a dizzying height for someone who came from so little. But as quickly as he rose, the cracks began to show. Without Cus D'Amato's steady hand, Mike's life outside the ring grew chaotic. His marriage to Robin Givens disintegrated publicly and acrimoniously. He parted ways with longtime trainer Kevin Rooney, a key link to Cus's teachings. Then came the infamous Don King, a promoter whose relationships with fighters were often complicated. In 1990, one of the biggest upsets in sports history, Tyson lost his undisputed title to a 42-1 underdog, Buster Douglas, in Tokyo. He looked unprepared, unfocused. The invincibility was shattered. Worse was to follow. In 1991, Tyson was accused of rape by Desiree Washington. In 1992, he was convicted and sentenced to 6 years in prison. He served 3. This period is a stark reminder that actions have consequences, and even titans can fall. He returned to boxing in 1995, a different man perhaps, but still immensely popular. He regained 2 of his title belts, but the comeback trail was fraught with more controversy, culminating in the infamous 1997 rematch with Evander Holyfield, the bite fight. Frustrated and losing, Tyson bit Holyfield's ear, not once but twice, leading to his disqualification and a lengthy ban. It was a moment that shocked the world and cemented a notorious image. Mike continued to fight into the 2000s, but he was a shadow of his former self. The fire, the discipline, the fear factor, it had diminished. He fought for money, often to pay off mounting debts. There were wins, but also more losses against Lennox Lewis and Danny Williams, signaling the end of an era. He officially retired in 2005 after a loss to Kevin McBride, admitting he no longer had the fighting guts or the heart. It seemed like the story might end there, another champion consumed by the very things that made him. But Mike Tyson's story didn't end with his boxing career. The years that followed have been a fascinating journey of self-discovery, reflection, and an attempt to find peace. He's been brutally honest about his mistakes, his addictions, and his mental health struggles. We've seen a new Mike emerge, a devoted family man, an entertainer with a one-man show, a podcaster, an actor in movies like The Hangover, and even an entrepreneur. He's embraced a quieter life, speaking openly about his past with a surprising level of introspection. His journey towards veganism, his exploration of spirituality, and his candid conversations about his pigeons, yes, pigeons, a lifelong passion, show a multifaceted individual far removed from the one-dimensional destructive force he was once perceived to be. So, what is Mike Tyson's legacy? Is he the ferocious champion, the controversial figure, or the man who found a measure of peace in his later years? The truth is, he's all of those things. His life is a powerful, if extreme, example of human potential, both for incredible achievement and for self-destruction. It's a story about the importance of guidance, the dangers of unchecked power and fame, and the possibility of change even after hitting rock bottom. Mike Tyson's journey reminds us that our worst mistakes don't have to define our final chapter. He was a fighter in the ring, and he continues to be a fighter in life, battling his own demons and striving for a better version of himself. His story isn't just about boxing. It's about the enduring human struggle for meaning, redemption, and peace. And that's a fight we can all relate to, in one way or another. What are your thoughts on Mike Tyson? What part of his story resonates most with you? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into iconic figures. Thanks for watching.